Hi, this is Noel Rice from Falafel Software. We're going to build a really simple Android app and use Xamarin UI Test to test it. We're going to keep it as basic as possible, and then in following videos, we're going to introduce some bugs on purpose and run through some of the gotchas that you tend to get. So there's two pieces that we're going to do. On the Android app side, we're going to create just a blank app project, minimal permissions and capabilities. We'll set the properties so that we know where to compile it and for what uh, version to target. We're going to add the internet capability and disable some shared runtime settings that cause issues with testing. We'll build it and deploy it out to an actual physical device. On the UI test side, we're going to add a project for that. It has the UI test, use its default code and testing that it already has, set up an APK file path so that it can locate the package that's already available that we've created on the left side here. We're going to make sure that we have the right NuGet packages. We'll build it, and then we'll run it in the Test Explorer. First, we'll build a new Android project. And so this is going to be under Android, and you can use blank app or a single view app, in fact, any app, but we want to keep it as minimal as possible. So if we run into other issues, we know it's not permissions for the app or some other issue that we didn't think of. So blank app is as small as you can get. That's what we're looking for. We'll need to set some properties on the app. So I'll right click, go to properties. First of all, on the application entry item there, we've got compile using Android versions. Now I've cut everything out of here except the version that works on the device that I have here, which is Android 6. So I could have Android 7 and lower versions and so forth. I could go up and compile it using the highest level version. In this case, I'm just going to stick with the Android 6 because that's all there is. We'll leave the minimum target at its default of 4.1. And the target version, I actually want to point at 6 because that's what I'm going to drop onto the device. So I need to know that it matches up with that. Later on, we go on to the cloud, not such a big deal. But here we need to make sure that it goes to that. On the manifest tab, first of all, in the package name, this is what we're going to see that gets built, app1.app1.apk. That'll be the package that's built and available in the bin directory out here in the project, and it's also going to be pushed out to the device. In the permissions, we want to turn on the internet permission. If we forgot, it wouldn't be a big deal. We just get an error later that when we tried to run it that we'd forgotten that, but best to take care of it right up front. And in the Android options, this one here can set you back a minute or two. The shared runtime is the mono runtime that you can share to make debugging quicker, but it's a problem for testing. It clashes with the testing. So you can either turn it off here and you can still have it be a debug, or you can just change this to be release and it automatically turns off the shared runtime. So that's okay. I'm going to right click and build this. And right click and deploy. This will push it out both into a directory here under bin under release, but it's also going to push it out to the device itself. Okay, so the deploy is successful. If we go out and refresh this, we should see app1.app1.apk. And we're going to need that path here in a minute when we start testing. So that's good, and it's in the release directory. So the next piece now is to build a test against this. So I'll right click and add a new project to the solution. This will be a UI test off of the Android templates here. So UI test app. This is going to automate the app that we just created, the blank app, and allow us to do testing against it. I'll click OK. And now we've got the UI test that includes already a test. And inside that test, it's created a test fixture just like it would for a unit test, a setup that gets run for each time a test is run, and then a single test method here called app launches. Now, when all is said and done, we should be able to go to Test, Windows, Test Explorer, and see app launches in a list here. We don't see it yet because we haven't built it, and we haven't built it because we're not finished here under the setup. Since we're testing locally and not in the cloud just yet, we have to do a little bit of extra here and include a path to the APK file. And that's going to be where we put it in the bin release. So I'm going to right click this and get the path to this. And we'll drop it in here. And we'll uncomment this in a moment. But first of all, I want to shorten this up just a bit. So what we can use is, okay, and if I've got everything in the path correct there, we should be good. There should be no leading backslash here. And let's go ahead and build this. All is good. Then we should have the app launches test inside the Test Explorer. And so there is. Give this a go. Now I've got the device already hooked up here via USB. This is the Samsung here. Signing APK with Xamarin Key Store, that's usually a good sign. Not definitive, but if you get this far, you're doing well. And I'll have to narrate to you what happens on the app for one of the debugging reasons. When it runs the test, it's actually, or when it's communicating with the device at all, it's using ADB, the Android debugger. Okay, just ran the blank app on the screen, and this test has come up green here, so that's all good. But the device applications for watching the screen while you're testing to do demos like this, like Visor or AirDroid, can actually interfere because they're using the Android debugger as well. So I'm leaving that off, and we'll take a look at that in a following video. Hope that helps. In following videos, we'll look at some of the issues that we can run into while we're doing UI tests. Until then, thanks for watching.